So we've got some service and community things to report in on. Some of these things are not happening this weekend, so we'll hear more about them next week, but I want you to get them on your calendars. But of course, we have our backpack crew. I love this picture. You guys are hilarious. Thank you. And who do we have on next week?
Next week.
Do we know?
Next week is Romy.
It's me.
All right. It's AJ.
AJ, you're right.
All right. Way to go, AJ. AJ, be sure to send us a photo so I can share it with everybody.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Today's the last day to drop off any donations for this event at the Arcata City Hall. When I went over there and stood in front of the door looking for the phone number to call, somebody saw me and let me in. So they'll notice you if you stand there or out in front between 12 and 5.
And this event is a project of Equity Arcata. Really, when we learned that students would come to this community and sometimes not feel welcome and comfortable, it was a decision to do. It started with potlucks, just the whole community welcoming our students, often focused on students of color, and because of COVID, we just had to adapt, and we give them a meal and a bag of stuff. But the most important thing we give them is the message that we're thankful that they're here, and we want them to know that they're an incredibly valued part of our community.
Right, thank you, Romy. And this next one is highway cleanup is scheduled for March 20th. I found this picture, I think, on our webpage. These are the olden days, but hopefully we'll have good weather and we'll have a good crew out there. There's a sign up genius already out there, so please take a look at it and sign up for your pod of, I guess it's two people per, and they have a system set up, so it's going to run really smoothly. We've delayed the hands-on project at Jacoby Creek School until the 21st. So just so if you sign up for that, please make a adjustment to your life's plans to make it the 21st. And Sarah said she'll be, she got a donation and she'll be purchasing some plants. Those of you who signed up to donate plants, please still do that. But hopefully with the donation she got, she'll be able to get what they need. If anyone has access to a chipper, we need a chipper. So that, and that's happening. There'll be more on that next week. There's also a GoFundMe campaign. There'll be more on this next week, that they're working to develop put a bench on the campus there in memory of Bev Welch. So there's more information on that link, and you'll hear more from Sarah next week on that as well. We'd like to get a short scholarship committee update. It's that time of year, Bryan.
It is that time of year. Thanks, Maggie. And this year, because we have several members of our committee who actually have kids that are in this grade, we're going to be looking for some more volunteers from the club to help fill in. You know, we want to have at least 5 to 7 members on this committee to evaluate. So even if you aren't on our committee, if you're interested in, I think, participating in one of the most satisfying and fun things that we do as Rotarians, get to meet some phenomenal kids and give them money, please let Maggie or myself know, and we'll be happy to get you signed up. We're going to do something a little bit different this year. We've always had a mission to target vocational oriented kids, but then we hand them this application that is very academically oriented and intimidating, and we have not had a lot of success attracting more vocationally oriented kids to our program. So this year we're going to be experimenting with an alternative application process that's a little less formal, backed up by some teacher evaluations, and hopefully find some kids that may not be on a traditional college path but still can become great leaders and business leaders in the community because of their vocational skills and passions. So really look forward to seeing how this works out. And please, would love to have 2 or 3 more people participate in the committee this year as we're selecting our winners.
Thank you, Brian. I'd love to participate in that this year. And I just want to mention that this is an example of how to look at equity in what we do. Because if you want to provide scholarships to any and all students who would qualify, you have to make sure the application process doesn't in itself rule out people or make it difficult for people regardless of the situation. So it's an example of looking at how our systems create inequities and not really even realizing it. So I like to find solid examples, because when we do all that rhetoric and talk about diversity and equity and what we're supposed to do, sometimes it's hard to find, okay, but what does that look like? And this is a great example of what that can look like. So thank you for leading that charge, Brian. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And I don't know if Brandon is here today. We don't have a lot of time left to talk about this, but I'm looking.
Yeah,
So,
I'm here.
oh, here, Brandon. So I just want to point out to everybody that if you golf, you know that this slide is really an abomination, because nobody uses that club or a tee when they're that close, except for maybe me, when they're that close to the hole. But nevertheless, hopefully people who golf won't do this on a regular basis. Do we have any updates that you can share? And bear in mind, we're getting close to the end of the hour, and I will give you much more time next week.
No, you're fine. I'll make it quick. Maggie, obviously you didn't participate in golf in the last tournament because we were doing this kind of stuff. We were having fun. So yes, it's still going to be a fun tournament. The downside this year is Travis at Beau Pre is not as open and available. And I don't necessarily know the specific date. I think Dustin and Melinda know. I probably have it on my phone, but we're probably looking more towards August. That's just the only downside of this one, which is basically the same time it happened last year. So we're trying to get it a little earlier, but he's just booked up. We asked him about earlier this year in the spring and in the summer, but it just didn't work out. So that's really our biggest update right now. So a lot of this will be pushed off for a couple more months, but we are going to start having committee meetings and just get going.
That's fine. That's good. It'll work.
It'll work. Yep.
Great. So let us know as soon as you have a date, and we'll start getting the party planning started. And August will be great. That will be a great time anyway. That will be wonderful. Awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah. Let me see. I'm looking for the date now.
Okay. If you have it, then you can let us know. Meanwhile, are all of you hearing that echo, or is it just happening in my head? Guess it's just happening in my head. Well, you know, at least I'm only hearing one voice echo at a time. If I start to hear multiple voices, I get worried. So we have a raffle, do we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And thanks to Charli Murphy, she sent me a little app thing that lets us do something that's a little more entertaining. So all I have to do is hold this up and tap.
Oh, this is so
who
cool.
The winner is.
I'm going to pin that so.
It even cheers for us too. So that's Bryan Plumley. Let's see what you got. And today the pot is at $40. $5 I'll pay you through Venmo. And we have one more. And Tom. So let's see. Ooh, $5 and $1 on the table. We'll just do the $5. And I'll pay you both through Venmo. Thank you guys for playing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, this is euros, or these are euros. And that we all know that that's what they use in Europe. And so I thought I would share with you a picture of the Eiffel Tower from the top, or almost not quite the top, of Notre Dame. And back in the days when you can go there and do that, she says longingly. And I just want to remind you all to change your clocks this weekend. If it doesn't do it automatically, I found a clock that does not change automatically. And I wish you all a great weekend. Whoa, it's magic. So everyone, have a great weekend. Enjoy the next day of sun, and it will be good to see you next week. Don't forget the board meeting is on Tuesday. I'll send out the link. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Maggie.